Now, Discover Diving in Port St Mary is an Isle of Man Unesco Biosphere partner. That's quite a title, Michelle Heywood. And at the end of the month, they're launching an underwater photo and video competition, which is really about showcasing the island's magnificent marine life. The theme is Best of Manx, and Michelle is with us to explain more. But just first of all, remind us what being a UNESCO Biosphere partner actually means, Michelle.
Well, the UNESCO Biosphere covers a whole range of things on the island. So it's the heritage, it's the environment, it's the culture as well. And so we've been a partner right from the very start, because we obviously spend a lot of time in the marine environment, and incredibly lucky that we can go and explore bits of the island that other people can't. And there is a huge amount of biodiversity around the island. We've done fairly well in protecting most of it. And DEFRA, all credit to DEFRA, because they really have worked hard over the years at trying to protect bits of the island's marine life.
This competition sounds really exciting. It starts on the 30th of June, and it only runs for 10 days, doesn't it?
Yeah, the registration is now open, so people can get the details and get the information about the different categories. But we've set a time limit really to get people to focus in on what you can see during that time, and to also mean that it has to be recent photographs that people have taken, because we know there are people who have been taking photographs around the Isle of Man and stuff for years. What we didn't want is somebody who's got a good back catalogue kind of storming in at the last minute. So this is a challenge to get everyone out diving during that 10-day period.
How are you going to know that they've done it during that time?
I'll trust them. Plus, I plan the dives for a lot of them, so I'll know where they are, and I know what marine life I'm expecting from different sites. If anything sticks out too much, there'll be a quiet word had around the back.
You mentioned categories. What sort of categories are there then?
There's 7 stills categories. Some of them are the really serious ones, so the macro category that will allow them to get up really, really close with some wonderful little sea slugs called nudibranchs, who are the most colourful and picturesque little things, but they are generally tiny, to be fair. Right up to there's a comedy section in there as well. So it's designed to be a bit of something for everyone to have a go at.
And I mean, what sort of specialist equipment, apart from a waterproof camera, do you need?
Do you know, camera technology has changed so much. When the splash-in used to be run, which we think is about 15, 16 years ago, it was run regularly, it was film cameras back then. So you had 24 shots and people had really expensive cameras and expensive housings. But now with the advent of digital camera technology, lots of people have GoPros or similar handheld video cameras. So we've got 3 video categories running, and you can take stills on those, and there are lots of very good digital cameras that you can take in the water. So I think there's a kind of a wider ownership of underwater cameras now.
And who's going to judge the images?
We've got 3 great judges. We've got Jackie Hall from Manx Basking Shark. We've got Jane Hall, who is from the Isle of Man Art Directory, and Jeremy Poole, the wildlife artist as well, who has done some diving in his time too. So we've kind of gone to non-divers and non-snorkelers really, but they've all been connected with marine stuff, but it's really looking for those great images.
And you've actually brought in some images that we're going to post on our Facebook after the show. Tell us a bit about some of the photos you've captured over the years in the Isle of Man seas.
Do you know, I am probably one of the worst photographers underwater. I apart from my moment of joy when the seal video about 5 or 6 years ago, when I'd taken a trainee in, I tend to just kind of point cameras in different directions. I'll be one of those ones in the compact category, or the comedy category, I think is where my photos often lie. Happily, we work with lots of absolutely fantastic underwater photographers and stuff like that. I've got some. It's one that I'm particularly proud of, where I've been playing around with UV light underwater. So you have a special torch that gives out UV light, and it turns out that a thing called a snake locks anemone glows like it's some sort of 80s neon disco effect when you shine UV light on it. So I've been playing around with that lately. I don't think I'll win any great awards with it, but I'm having a lot of fun taking those photographs. I've discovered that lobsters' knees glow, and who knew that?
Who knew that? Indeed. I love the idea of a comedy category. You can just imagine a fish wearing a hat. I don't know, like sort of a clownfish.
I've got a couple of little underwater Lego diving style figures that might be appearing in sites around here as well, because I figure you can have some real fun with that. So and we're not precluding props being used, so I think there's some scope for some real fun images to come out.
It sounds like it. So you mentioned people can register now. How do they do that?
If you go to the Discover Diving website, look for the What's On category, and under there's a whole section on splash-in. It's got the forms to download as well, tells you all about the categories, and I'm just finalising now with a whole load of brilliant dive manufacturers. We've got some absolutely fabulous prizes, so we'll be announcing the prizes for each category at the weekend as well. There are prizes worth hundreds of pounds to be won. So.
Oh, sounds brilliant. Michelle, thank you so much for coming in to tell us about that. All the details as ever on the Women's Day blog after the show. And it's interesting actually because Year of Our Island is all about seas and shores this month. And the Isle of Man, as we've talked about before, has 160 kilometres of coastline, such a diverse seascape, including lots of areas of special scientific interest. Actually, at Ballacomene High School Studio Theatre from 7:30 tomorrow, you can join the Senior Marine Environment Officer, Peter Duncan, as they splash into the island seas, and he's put together an underwater tour of the oceans around the island, and you can join in with the interactive evening without having to venture out into the oceans. You were involved in that, were you, Michelle?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been editing that video this week for Peter, so if he tries to claim that it was his, I'm not having that.
I was just reading what I was given, okay? If you want to book tickets, you can get in touch with the Year of Our Island team, 685-293. Parking is available there, and you'll get refreshments as well. And on Saturday, you can go down to the Sound for one of their summer public sea watch events. Members of the Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch team will be there with spotting tips and binoculars to help you see whales, dolphin, porpoises and other sea life.